Hi everyone, this is Christy Matthews and I'm sharing my ethical dilemma. I met with Paul Ozenkup, who's the Associate Director of Student Conduct Services here at Colorado State University. He shared a case that he dealt with this spring involving a young woman who made a report that she was sexually assaulted in her residence hall room late one night by three individuals that she had been spending a lot of time with over the last several months. One of the three people was a woman who is a close friend of hers. The other two are males who are openly gay and have been spending a lot of time with the two women going out in Fort Collins. Generally, when they go out together, most of the group will drink a lot of alcohol, although this young woman reported that she does not drink very frequently. But the night in question, she had had a lot to drink. She had been encouraged to drink a lot of shots and was quite drunk by her self-report. And she was coerced into some sexual activity that she did not give consent to engage in. She also reported in her police report that she had been involved in many other incidents with these three individuals where they would go out in Fort Collins and look for drunk individuals walking down the street and offer them a ride home. They'd pick up individuals, often men, and encourage them to take off their clothes and or engage in sexual activity. In this report, the young woman admitted that she was basically involved in at least two other assaults on victims that they had picked up and pressured them into sexual activity against their will. So the ethical dilemma is, how does the Conduct Office hold students accountable for their actions when they have been victimized and have self-reported their engagement or involvement in activities that are in violation of the conduct code or maybe against the law or both? So there were other implications in this case. My primary focus is around interacting with victims who self-report, but there were also dilemmas around the impact that this case would have on the larger residence hall community. These students were all very well involved and engaged, knew lots of students in the hall, along with all of the staff of Residence Life, and were strong performing students and well known on campus at large. So there were many implications there. There's also the Title IX considerations. Title IX entitles all students to a safe and secure experience on campus, and the Title IX authorities on campus determined that there was no Title IX implication in this case. So I'm very focused on, in my review of this situation, the ethical dilemma around how do we work with victims and not further victimize or re-impact them when they have self-reported their involvement in a crime or other violation of the conduct code. I took a developmental and do the greatest good, least harm approach as is defined in both ACPA and NAFSA's Code of Ethics. I've worked with NAFSA's Code of Ethics for many years, and ACPA, I really appreciated the values around developing students and informing students. So with that in mind, I looked into the conduct code and reviewed the exemption process from discipline that we have in place for students who report to authorities when a friend or fellow student is in trouble. We actually have an exemption process for a student who has a friend who might be drunk or have consumed too much alcohol, and even if that student making the report has also consumed alcohol or violated the conduct code in some ways, there is a process that will allow them exemption from discipline by doing the right thing and contacting authorities to take care of their fellow student. So I took that approach and developed my creative approach to say, let's have an exemption from discipline process for victims at Colorado State University. It would look similar It would involve a student receiving a letter from the conduct office sharing the implications of the conduct code in the particular circumstances, and inviting the student to schedule a meeting with the conduct officer, to a cause meeting, if you will, to show why they may be eligible for an exemption from discipline in the circumstances. So the idea here is that a hearing for a victim just seems fairly punitive and really could be significantly detrimental to the response of the student who's been victimized. And rather than approaching this as a hearing, it is important to hold the student accountable for their behavior in an appropriate and developmental way, but in a way that is also going to help the student grow and move through a very traumatic circumstance. So in this way, it's my hope that we could ask the student to come to a meeting, help that student to understand how they might have violated the rights of another student, how they might have violated the student conduct code, but not re-victimize or put more pain on top of what's probably already a very, very difficult situation. So I'm excited to explore that idea. I've shared my idea with Paul Ozenkup. He said that they do have some latitude in their conduct process, and it sounds like they used a similar approach to meet with the student and help her to understand her responsibilities. And sanctions in this type of a circumstance might involve therapy or ongoing contact with case management or other resources to support the student moving through a traumatic experience. Very tough situation. I admire the folks in conduct who are able to deal with these in a holistic and meaningful way and think about the needs of the victims, all of the victims that are impacted in these circumstances.